Hello, this is our cooking video and we are doing Austria. Hello, today we are making some grenadier marsh for dinner and it is a pasta dish. But first we must wash our hands.
So first, we're going to begin by cutting the potatoes into small pieces. And speaking of cutting, the French Queen Marie Antoinette was originally from Austria, and she was beheaded.
Next, we need to fry the potatoes in 4 tablespoons of butter. Don't forget to add a little bit of salt, Emma. While this is cooking, we need to boil the water for the noodles. Speaking of potatoes, Austria was the only country in the European Union that was not a part of NATO.
In the meantime, we'll be chopping up an onion. And onions make me cry. And speaking of emotion, Sigmund Freud was founding father of the psychoanalysis of Austria. Now, since the potatoes are golden brown, we'll be adding the onion.
While we add the onions, we'll start pouring in the pasta. Do you know who doesn't like pasta? Arnold Schwarzenegger. But he was from Austria.
Now the pasta has to cook for 15 minutes. And speaking of numbers, during World War II, the numbers 0 through 5 were painted on Austrian doors from people that resisted the Nazis. Now we'll be adding the ham to our potatoes and onions.
Speaking of ham, ham comes from an animal, and animals live in the zoo. And Austria founded the very first zoo in the entire world. Next, we need to strain the pasta. Watch the water fall through the holes as the blood fell through Archduke Ferdinand's wound when he was assassinated. Next, we need to add a little bit more butter.
And paprika.
This meal is not supposed to be healthy.
Or dry.
In the next step, we need to add our cooked noodles into our potatoes and meat.
And this resembles how Austria and Hungary were mixed together up until after World War I.
Around me are familiar.
For the final step, we have to add ghee, which is a form of butter, and it gives it a cheesy taste.
We also had to extract some noodles.
Dish and enjoy with your loved ones.
Or enjoy your nice little local pasta dish by yourself, because you have no friends.
Lastly, you gotta do the dishes, because there's not a magical dish fairy. That was a really yummy Austrian pasta dish. Let's see what Arnold has to say.
Let's get to the dessert chopper!
Today we're making Austrian apple pie, but first let's go wash our hands.
Cut all the apples into thin slices.
And then you can defenestrate the cores out the window.
Administration happened in Austria during the 30 Years' War, but the people that were thrown out the window lived because they lived in a pile of poop.
Next we have to add lemon juice to the apples. It's time for this lemon to die.
Speaking of death, Austria's cemetery has more people that are dead in it than are alive. Next you have to join together the sugar and the cinnamon with the apples.
Just like Austria joined the League of Nations in 1920. 1 tablespoon of butter.
Like in 1772 when Poland was partitioned and other countries cut off parts of it.
Add the butter to the apples.
Around me are familiar.
Now that we mix the apples together, they have to sit so their juices can be released.
But that's not much compared to the Austrian work week, which is 48 hours, the longest in Europe.
Next you have to pour apple juice in a saucepan and add some sugar and stir until it caramelizes.
Preheat the oven to 350 degrees. Attack the pan quickly with spray, just like Germany invaded Austria with Blitzkrieg in 1938.
Put the pie crust into the pan and spread it out. The apple juice mixture with the apples.
Just like Austria joined the European Union in 1945.
Once you add that, then you add the apples into the pie crust. Yum.
Next you gotta make your chicken lay some eggs.
Hello, Mr. Easter Bunny. Can I have some eggs? Got it.
Okay, then you have to put your crust on top of the apples and poke holes in it so it cooks evenly.
Then put the egg on top of your apple pie. Alright, now put your pie in the oven for 30 minutes.
Since cleaning is so boring, here's a fun fact. The sewing machine was invented by an Austrian guy in 1818. Thanks for watching our Austrian cooking show video.
Even though you couldn't taste it, it was pretty good.